Right, I've got some of my upgrades that I'm going to get for my brewery. I've purchased a new boil pot, which I'll show you. I'll just take the chiller out. I've got a 33 litre pot, which I got from Robert the malt miller. Really good company to go to. Rob's really good. Phoned him up. I was originally going to get a 21 litre place where they get these pots. They do a 21 litre because I'm only doing small batches in the flat. I thought it'd be a better size to get. The current boilers that I have got kind of like 15 litre and a 12 litre, which are okay, but when I want to sort of end up with 12 or 10 litres in the fermenter, they're not quite enough to start in with enough to account for losses and boil offs and whatnot. So I thought I'd get a 21 litre. Rob was going to get me one, but for the price it was going to cost to get that, it was easy just to get the 33 litre, which he holds in stock anyway, which comes with the tap and the hop filter. But the one other thing I wanted to get was a thermometer, one that's sort of drilled into the pot. Partly because using it to get mash water up, the boil up, forever putting the thermometer in and that, just for ease of use, I wanted to kind of make it a little bit easier. And I'm always breaking the thermometers as well, so I thought I'd get a temperature gauge. And I spoke to Robert Mortmiller and he said that a lot of the cheaper ones that you get are really quite cheap. They don't sort of last very long, or they don't work too well. He recommended getting the Blickman one. He said he uses it on his pots. It's not something that he sells, so it wasn't like he was trying to sell it to me. So he did say I could like buy it, send it to him. He would fit it, but then he couldn't send it with it fitted because it could get broken post bits. So what he did do is drill the hole for me, his end, sent it through, and then I fitted it. So that is what I've got on the pot now. If you can see that, if it's focusing. So it's not the cheapest of thermometers, it's not overly expensive, but it's dead accurate. I mean, it's got a little adjustment so you can calibrate it and that, but I haven't really needed to. It's been spot on. I've sort of compared it against 3 other thermometers and it's all coming out the same, so I'm pleased with that. That's the first upgrade. I haven't got my capper yet. It's going to take about 4 weeks to get here. There's only kind of one. There's a few shops that sell it. It's funny. It's kind of like a few shops sell the same looking one, but I think different companies make it. But I'm wondering if they all sort of still come from the same manufacturer. This company that I'm using are getting it from Italy, and I wonder if all the other companies get it from Italy and then they stick their sticker on it and stick their own extra bit of, percentage on it. But this home brewing shop haven't stuck an awful lot on it compared to some of the others, and you also get a little bit of an extra discount because you're spending over a certain amount, and it's free delivery and that. So I've put that on order. The chap said it'd be about 4 weeks, so I don't know exactly when it's going to come, but they're going to give me a call when it's in and then take the payment then. My other capper, which I've got here, which I am going to sell, someone has actually asked already. I'll have to message you back. I haven't as yet, sorry. It works fine, it's still great. The only thing that broke on it, well, I say broke, was, let me just take that out, is that in the bell you've got a little tiny magnet which holds the crown cap sort of like in situ before you put the bottle there and then you pull down. That seems to keep popping out all the time. Well, it never used to. I've bottled about, I don't know, 200-300 bottles with this, and it's never come out before. And then the last bottling session I did, every cap I did, the little magnet was stuck to the top of the next crown cap. It's not a major issue because you don't really need the magnet as such. You can just put the cap on top of the bottle, and then pull down on the cap, and it will still cap it. But I kind of think that's part of how it's meant to work, and it was just irritating. It was making a quick bottling day a lot slower. I have since super glued it in where it came out, and it hasn't come out since. So that is the thing. To be said, it has been fixed, if you like. So it's kind of not broken, but when I do sell it, I am going to sell it with some caps as well. I'm going to probably give 100 caps of it as well, just to kind of sweeten the deal a little bit. But as I say, everything else works about it. So even if the magnet does pop out again, it's kind of it's not the end of the thing. But it hasn't popped out so far, and I think that's probably how it was held in originally anyway, was super glue. I do find that with this capper, and I know I've read over a lot of forums, other people seem to find that when you kind of release the bottle, it really kind of like holds onto it. You've got to sort of twist it or whatever. But a lot of people say to, and I never have, and probably should have, is to keep greasing the inside of the bell, and that is just like a little bit of Vaseline or something like that, or KY, whatever you've got at home. And sorry, and that will stop it sticking next time. So that's why I've decided to get another one, just because I do a lot of bottling. I just can't be asked with something that's going to keep kind of like, not breaking, but just not working to how it should. And I think what didn't help us was storing it in the garage at one point, and I think that's kind of like probably not helped keeping the magnet in there and making it stick a bit more. So I've since brought it back to the flat with me, because it was a pain in the arse keep taking it around, so I left it at the brewery. But I've had to bring it back now because I just don't want it sort of breaking anymore. But as a capper, it does work well, but I do think there are a lot better caps out there. Even the one I'm getting isn't cheap. Hopefully it works for the money that it is, obviously, but there is one sort of around this price range. It's like a red one. I think it's called the Super Agata, where you kind of like when you're pulling on this one, you have to pull that trigger in like a trigger of a gun, and it lifts up and down and then locks in. With the I think it's the Super Agata one, you kind of adjust it with that, and then when you pull down to sort of go down to the bottle height, it locks in there already, so you don't really kind of have to keep clicking this trigger and pulling it down. You can sort of quickly adjust a lot more, faster than this one, which is, it seems a better capper. I probably would have gone for that one before this one, but this one is 10 times better than some of the other cappers you can get. And as soon as I get my other capper through, which is probably going to be in the next 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to do a video on some of the other cappers that I've got or still own or I have had, and compare it to the new one, just to see how good it is, and if it does to perform to say how it should. And then once I've got the new one and I'm happy with it, I'll be selling this one on. So I think that's about it for this week. I'm still enjoying Brewmaster Ben's Steam Beer, which I've reviewed just before this video. After getting my pot, I was thinking about getting a kind of a newer mash tun, a shiny mash tun and that, but I've been listening to a lot of podcasts on Beersmith, and one of the chaps, Denny Con, he's got a website at dennybrew.com, and to see his setup, he's like a master of batch sparging, and he's set up, I think he's used for like 14 years or something, and it's like a basic cooler, a basic boiler with a bent bit of copper pipe in it, and he's done loads of beers with no problems on that. And it kind of makes you think sometimes that, do you really need to get something that's really shiny? Something shiny ain't going to make better beer. I mean, I got the bigger brew pot for practicality more than anything, but it kind of makes you think, I don't really need a shiny mash tun if the one I've already got is going to give me the results I need. It just kind of shows that you don't always need to spend a lot of money to make good beer. Other than that, I'm going to start a series of Cooper's type beer kits, start to finish videos. I'm going to start one possibly Saturday. I'm going to upload the first part, or record the first part Friday night of the ingredients, record some of the brewing. I'm not going to sort of show you pouring in water and things like that, but just the steps kind of thing, all the way through to the finished article and to the actual bottling. And I've kind of had a little bit of idea with the let me just answer that, sorry. With the bottling, once I've done the bottling, I might do a taste test, but I'm thinking with the taste test, what I'm going to do is each of these Cooper's recipes that I do, because there are a few people that have done these different Cooper's ones. There's Tube Dino's, he's done quite a few. They're on the Cooper's website, so I'm going to explain it on my next upload. But decided I'm going to give away a couple of bottles of each one I do to someone. I haven't decided the exact ways of how I'm going to give them out, who I'm going to give them out to, but just to kind of give something back to people that watch the videos and that, and they can try the beer. But I'm also possibly considering doing a kit version and then doing an all grain version and then comparing the both. Maybe send a bottle of each out, and then those other people can compare what they're like. Other than that, I think that's about it from me this week. Cheers.